So the PS5 Pro was announced just a few days ago, and while the initial reveal gave us plenty to chew on, there's now even more juicy details to dive into. And guess what? The console hasn't completely sold out its pre-orders like many of us thought it would. Remember when the PS5 launched? This time, it looks like Sony's got things under control. Or maybe, just maybe, there's no global shortage of parts this time around. Hey everyone, it's Rubes here. Before we dive any deeper, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really does help me out and it keeps me making more videos for you guys. Now let's get back into it. All of those scalpers and all of those bots who snatched up the beautiful 30th anniversary limited edition units to resell at ridiculous prices, I'm sure are kicking themselves right now because pre-orders for the PS5 Pro are still available worldwide at retail pricing. Looks like the scalpers have lost this round, which means you won't have to pay 3 times the price on eBay like you might have when the PS5 first launched. Alright, now that we've cleared that up, let's dive into the PS5 Pro and break down what's new, what's improved, and whether or not it's worth your hard-earned cash. The PS5 Pro brings some hefty improvements in 3 main areas. There's a larger GPU, advanced ray tracing, and AI-driven upscaling. First, let's talk about the GPU. The PS5 Pro now features a larger GPU with an additional 67% compute units and 28% faster RAM, leading to 45% faster rendering. If that sounds too techy, don't worry about it. What it really means is that it's going to be providing you with smoother, faster games. You will notice an increase to the frame rate, especially in fast-paced games. And yes, that bump is noticeable when things get intense. One example that comes to mind during their announcement trailer was a Spider-Man gameplay. So whether you're playing a fast-paced shooter or an open-world adventure, the PS5 Pro is designed to keep everything running buttery smooth. And trust me, coming from a PC gamer, when your games jump to a consistent 60 frames, you will notice a difference. So up next, we're going to talk about the advanced ray tracing. Now this feature means you'll get even better reflections, lighting, and shadows in your games, making them look even more realistic. They showcased this with Hogwarts Legacy. It was easy to see the differences. The reflections off the water, the light casting realistic shadows, and all the little details brought the game's world to life. And finally, we have AI-driven upscaling, or as Sony calls it, PSSR, which means PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. This uses machine learning to enhance image quality, even when you're playing on a 4K display. Now, if you're the type of person that's going to pause your game and go straight up to your screen just to have a look at the little pixels, the distant textures are going to look sharper and everything will just feel crispier overall. So even if you don't have an 8K TV, your 4K setup is still going to benefit from these improvements. Alright, now that we've had a look at what was under the beautiful vented hood, let's now have a look at how the PS5 Pro stacks up against the PS5 Slim. Both of the consoles share the same Zen 2 architecture and RDNA GPUs, but the Pro has a lot more under the hood. We've already talked about the GPU and faster rendering, but there's another key difference. The PS5 Pro has Wi-Fi 7, which means that you're going to be getting a faster and more reliable connection, especially important if you're playing online or streaming games, so you can say goodbye to those lag spikes. And let's not forget about 8K gaming. Now, this was something that was mentioned in Sony's blog post as opposed to the reveal video, but the PS5 Pro, as they claim, is built to handle 8K. The reality though is that most of us don't really have an 8K TV, and there aren't many 8K games out there yet. But if you're planning to upgrade your TV in the future, and once more games become available, the Pro will definitely be ready for it. For now, it's like buying a Ferrari when most roads still have a 60 km/h speed limit. Cool to have, but you're not going to max it out anytime soon. And before we move on, the Pro will come standard with a 2TB SSD, which means that you won't have to spend half your time uninstalling games just to make room for new ones, or for those first day patches that we all know and love. Now I've got 2 words that'll excite a lot of you retro gamers out there. Backwards compatibility. That's right, the PS5 Pro console can play over 8,500 PS4 games. Now you might be saying, Rubes, the PS5 can already do that. What's the big deal? Well, it's not just backwards compatible for the sake of it. The PS5 Pro's Game Boost feature means that some of these older games will actually perform better, with smoother frame rates, faster load times, and even improved graphics on the supported PS4 and PS5 titles. So if you're like me and you're still working through your PS4 backlog and your PS3 backlog and your PS2 and the but anyway, yeah, so not to trail off, but if you're still working through your PS4 backlog, the PS5 Pro might just be your new best friend. Alright, let's talk about the price, which has been a shocking point for many of us. The PS5 Pro is priced at $699 US, $699 British pounds, and 1,200 Australian dollars. But that's not the whole story. If you want to play physical games, like some of that PS4 backlog we just mentioned, you will need to grab the additional disc drive, which Sony have taken a page from Apple's book and is selling it separately for $80 US, 100 British pounds, or 159 Australian dollars. And don't forget all about the vertical stand, which you won't get. That'll cost you up another $29 US, 25 British pounds, or 49 Australian dollars. So when you add it all up, what you're going to look at for the PS5 Pro with the disc drive and the stand will come to a total of $826 US, 824 British pounds, or 1,400 Australian dollars. It's definitely going to be an investment piece, but for some, it might be worth the price tag. So is the PS5 really going to be future-proof? Well, with their claim of the 8K compatibility, AI upscaling, and faster performance, it's definitely built to last. But with rumors of the PS6 already starting to surface, you might be wondering if it's better to wait. Honestly, if you're someone who loves pushing your gaming setup to the max, the PS5 Pro will give you years of top-notch gaming. But if you're happy with what you've got, your PS5 Slim or Standard isn't going to fall behind anytime soon. So, should you upgrade to the PS5 Pro? If you're like me and you're someone who craves smoother frame rates, sharper graphics, and that sweet future-proofing, well then the Pro is definitely worth having a look at. You will notice a difference, especially in the upcoming PS5 Pro Enhanced games that are set to take full advantage of all the extra power. But if you're already loving your PS5 Slim or Standard Edition and don't feel the need to upgrade just yet, there honestly is no rush. Both consoles will keep you gaming at a high level for quite a while. At the end of the day, whether you're going to go Pro or you're going to stick with the Slim, Sony's got you covered. Now you may be wondering, why hasn't Rubes shown any live shots of his PS5 in this video? Well, the answer to that will be covered in my upcoming gaming setup series, so be sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss that story. Oh, and if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up as it really does help me out. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode where, spoiler alert, it does include something about the 30th anniversary edition PlayStation. I'll see you guys there.